Okay, we shall continue. This is John chapter 18. After this discourse or conversation, Jesus went out with his disciples across the Kidron Valley. There was a garden there, and he and his disciples entered it. The place was familiar to Judas as well, the one who was to hand him over, because Jesus had often met there with his disciples. Judas took the cohort as well as guards supplied by the chief priests and the Pharisees, and came there with lanterns, torches, and weapons. Jesus, aware of all that would happen to him, stepped forward and said to them, Who is it you want? Jesus, the Nazarene, they replied. I am he answered. Now Judas, the one who was to hand him over, was there with them. As Jesus said to them, I am he, they retreated slightly and fell to the ground. Jesus put the question to them again. Who is it you want? Jesus the Nazarene, they repeated. I have told you I am he. Jesus said, If I am the one you want, let these men go. This was to fulfill what he had said, I have not lost one of those you gave me. Then Simon Peter, who had a sword, drew it and struck the slave of the high priest, severing his right ear. The slave's name was Malchus. At that, Jesus said to Peter, Put your sword back in its sheath. Am I not to drink the cup the Father has given me? Then the soldiers of the cohort, their tribune, and the Jewish guards arrested Jesus and bound him. They led him first to Annas, the father-in-law of Caiaphas, who was the high priest that year. It was Caiaphas who had proposed to the Jews the advantage of having one man die for the people. This is now verse 15. Simon Peter, in company with another disciple, kept following Jesus closely. This disciple, who was known to the high priest, stayed with Jesus as far as the high priest's courtyard, while Peter was left standing at the gate. The disciple known to the high priest came out and spoke to the woman at the gate, and then brought Peter in. This servant girl who kept the gate said to Peter, Are you not one of this man's followers? Not I, he replied. Now the night was cold, and the servants and the guards who were standing around had made a charcoal fire to warm themselves by. Peter joined them and stood there warming himself. The high priest questioned Jesus first about his disciples, then about his teaching. Jesus answered by saying, I have spoken publicly to any who would listen. I always taught in a synagogue or in the temple area, where all the Jews could come together. There was nothing secret about anything I said. Why do you question me? Question those who heard me when I spoke. It should be obvious that they will know what I said. At this reply, one of the guards who was standing nearby gave Jesus a sharp blow on the face. Is that the way to answer the high priest? He said. Jesus replied, if I said anything wrong, produce the evidence. But if I spoke the truth, why hit me? Annas next sent him bound to the high priest Caiaphas. All through this, Simon Peter had been standing there warming himself. They said to him, are you not a disciple of his? He denied it and said, I am not. But did I not see you with him in the garden? Insisted one of the high priest's slaves. As it happened, a relative of the man whose ear Peter had severed. Peter denied it again. At that moment a cock began to crow, or to cry out. Verse 28. At daybreak they brought Jesus from Caiaphas to the praetorium. They did not enter there, the praetorium, themselves, for they had to avoid ritual impurity if they were to eat the Passover supper. Pilate came out to them. What accusation do you bring against this man? He demanded. If he were not a criminal, they retorted, we would certainly not have handed him over to you. At this, Pilate said, why do you not take him and pass judgment on him according to your law? We may not put anyone to death, the Jews answered. This was to fulfill what Jesus had said, indicating the sort of death he had to die. Pilate went back into the praetorium and summoned Jesus. Are you the king of the Jews? He asked him. Jesus answered, are you saying this on your own, or have others been telling you about me? I am no Jew, Pilate retorted. It is your people and the chief priest who have handed you over to me. What have you done? Jesus answered, my kingdom does not belong to this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my subjects would be fighting to save me from being handed over to the Jews. As it is, my kingdom is not here. At this, Pilate said to him, so then you are a king? Jesus replied, it is you who say I am a king. The reason I was born, the reason why I came into the world, is to testify to the truth. Anyone committed to the truth hears my voice. Truth, said Pilate. What does that mean? After this, Pilate went out again to the Jews and said to them, Speaking for myself, I find no case against this man. Recall your custom whereby I release someone to you at Passover time. Do you want me to release to you the King of the Jews? They shouted back, We want Barabbas, not this one. Barabbas had murdered a Roman soldier and was kept in prison. So they were telling Pilate that they wanted Barabbas released instead of Jesus.